In the next few minutes, you will understand why most men are ignored, and why a rare few, without being the most handsome or the richest, become emotional addictions. This is not a video filled with nice phrases. This is a surgical dissection of the invisible power that governs every conversation between you and a woman. While others chase the right words to be liked, you will learn how to turn your entire presence into a strategic weapon. How to install a frame of dominance without raising your voice. How to transform her tests into invitations. How to carve yourself into her mind with the precision of a scalpel. Has it ever happened that you start a conversation perfectly, and yet she suddenly loses interest? It was not your clothes. It was not your looks. It was your energy. An imperceptible mistake her instinct detected within seconds. The moment your gaze wavered, when your tone softened, when your need became louder than your center. Why do some women become obsessed with men who do nothing extraordinary? The answer lies in what Machiavelli never wrote in his books, but lived through every political move. He understood that power is never what you show. It is what you make others feel without a single word. Once you understand these strategies, you will never be able to unsee them. So if you are fragile, stop now. But if you are ready to learn the difference between a common man and a conversational strategist, this begins now. Every interaction is a silent negotiation of power. And if you do not claim the psychological territory first, she will claim it for you. Machiavelli revealed a brutal truth in his lesser-known writings. He who seeks to be loved by everyone will be betrayed by most. The man who lives to please loses respect before he even begins. Attraction does not grow from being liked. It is born from tension. Picture this. A man walks up to a woman. He smiles too much. He nods at everything she says. He showers her with compliments. Do you know what he is really communicating? Please accept me. Meanwhile, another man approaches without a single trace of need. He listens. He observes. He speaks little, but every word carries weight. His energy says, I have already accepted myself. The question is, can you exist in my world? That is the map of invisible power. Machiavelli used silence as a weapon because silence breeds discomfort, and discomfort commands attention. Every well-timed pause is a step forward in controlling the emotional frame. But even more lethal than silence is unpredictability. A man who always reacts the same way, who never breaks the rhythm, who always says the right thing, is quickly filed away by the female mind as safe but forgettable. Want to leave a mark? Fracture the pattern. Introduce unexpected pauses. Drop a statement and refuse to explain it. Let your gaze carry mystery instead of reassurance. Her subconscious will begin to whisper, what is this man thinking? And that question, brother, is where desire begins. The first one who tries to impress loses. The first one who shows need loses. She does not think this, she feels it. And that is where most men fail. They think they are having a casual chat. In reality, they are stepping into a subconscious duel where every gesture, every tone, every second of silence communicates hierarchy. Machiavelli called it the theater of power. Every prince needed a public image stronger than his real strength. In modern conversation, that image is not your looks. It is your inner frame, your ability to project a reality she accepts as superior without you ever claiming it. How do you build that certainty? Through micro-decisions. You do not answer questions that do not deserve answers. You do not justify your mood. You do not over-explain your past. You never apologize for who you are. If you disagree with something she says, you hold your ground calmly. You do not debate to win. You state to solidify. I understand your point, but I see life differently. Said with calm conviction, that single line is worth more than 1,000 compliments. You are not seeking approval. You are offering access to a world that does not need her validation. And to her subconscious, that is irresistibly rare. The dominant frame is never imposed. It is installed. And once installed, everything orbits around it. The prince did not say, I am the leader. He simply behaved as if he already were. He never asked for permission. He never lowered himself to convince. The frame is not spoken. It is transmitted through silence, certainty, and direction. So how do you apply this? Never enter her frame. If she throws a sarcastic joke, you do not justify yourself. If she tries to spark jealousy, you do not play her game. If she challenges you with logic, respond with emotional calm, because the emotional frame always defeats the intellectual one. Boys. She says, "You're one of those guys who use internet phrases." You reply, "Yes, but only the ones that work." Then an enigmatic smile. You are not defending. You are redirecting. Weapon 1. Strategic space. Instead of replying to every message instantly, leave deliberate gaps. Instead of revealing everything in the first conversation, drop clues that suggest but never close the circle. "Something once happened to me in Lahore, but that's a long story." Then change the subject. The void feeds imagination, and imagination is the soil where obsession grows. Weapon 2. Direct the narrative. In every conversation there is an unspoken story. Are you trying to convince her you are special, or is she trying to uncover what makes you different? You do not compete with other men. You are the standard by which they are compared. If she leaves, you do not chase. If she goes silent, you do not flinch. You already won the moment you mastered yourself. Weapon 3. Flip the polarity. The average man makes everything revolve around her. You do something different. When she asks you a question, return it with a deeper one. She says, "What do you like in a woman?" You answer, "Depends. Do you want to be desired or understood?" That single question flips everything. Now she is seeking your approval, not the other way around. Weapon 4. Emotional contrast. Speak in a relaxed tone, but drop sharp lines. Show tenderness in small things, then return to your firm posture. This swing creates an experience that cannot be categorized. And what cannot be categorized is remembered. She says she likes some mainstream artist. You respond, "Interesting. Didn't take you for someone who likes predictable things." Then smile and change the topic. That is controlled disruption, a mini crisis in her self-image. Whoever creates a mini crisis without being offensive installs emotional dominance. Weapon 5. Selective attention. Total validation is boring. Complete indifference is repellent. The lethal point is between the two. Validate only what you truly admire. If she says something impressive, look at her and say, "Not bad." Then stay silent. Do not amplify. Do not celebrate. Simply calibrate. She is not just seeking to be heard, she is searching to be understood by someone who cannot be bought with exaggerated reactions. Weapon 6. Elegant diversion. When she asks a question that implies control, you respond with a story, not data. She asks, "What do you do exactly?" You answer, "Depends on the day. Sometimes I conquer empires. Other times I just have a late breakfast." Then shift the topic. You are not hiding. You are transforming logic into mystery. And mystery, brother, is the fertilizer of desire. Weapon 7. The strategic gaze. Do not look like an interrogator. Do not look like a thirsty man. Look like a reader who already knows what he is about to discover. Hold 1 extra second of eye contact after her response. That gaze, calm, observant, unshaken, says without words, "I am here. And I see more than what you say." There is a moment in every conversation when she throws a test. A line that sounds harmless but secretly measures your structure. And most men fail. They react, justify, defend, and lose their frame without realizing it. She says, "Do you always talk this confidently?" You respond, "No. Sometimes I'm even worse." Then smile. No defense. No justification. You turn the hit into play. She says, "You think all women are the same?" Wrong answer, "No, not at all. I respect all women." Right answer, "No. But some are so synchronized it feels like a union." Subtle, playful, unexpected. You did not fight, you redirected. Not everything deserves an answer. Sometimes the greatest power lies in a pause, a half smile, a held gaze, and a subtle shift of topic. That conscious omission whispers, "I could respond, but I will not give you that pleasure yet." She throws, "Prove to me you're not like the rest." You reply, And have you already proven that you're worth the risk? Frame shifted. You are no longer being evaluated. You are the one evaluating. And if the conversation goes nowhere, if she slips into power games, you smile and say, "I think we're not in sync today." Then you walk away. That strategic withdrawal is not defeat. It is dominance. Your presence is not guaranteed. Your time is gold. And you decide where to invest it. There exists something far more dangerous than attraction, more potent than desire: obsession. And obsession is not caused by beauty. It is caused by unfinished perception. Machiavelli understood that humans are not driven by what they possess, but by what they almost grasp, what they desire but cannot master, what they feel but cannot explain. A woman does not become obsessed with what she understands about you. She becomes obsessed with what she cannot decode. Become an unfinished story in her mind. Use the emotional cliffhanger. Share an anecdote heavy with emotion, but stop before it ends. I once came close to losing everything because of a decision that seemed smart, but that's another story. Then silence. Change the subject. She will stay with that tension because the human mind hates loose ends. Design internal contrasts. Be kind, but at key moments, show your untamable side. Be funny, then pause with a serious line that makes her rethink everything. She cannot categorize you, and that neurologically hooks her. Use real emotional scarcity. You are not always available. Your attention unfolds gradually. Your story is released in fragments. You are the book that cannot be read in one night. And the most invisible rule, the one no manual teaches: detach from the need to be understood. Men who crave to be understood talk too much. They over-explain. They want her to know their story, their pain, their path. But the men who create obsession, they let her imagine it. They give pieces and let her mind build the rest. And in that construction, she projects. And what is projected sinks deeper than anything ever explained. When you master this, you stop being just a man she talks to, and become a narrative her mind keeps processing even in silence. You are no longer a conversation. You are an intrigue, an echo she cannot silence. You have learned the framework, the weapons, the silences, the codes, the strategic withdrawals. But knowledge without action is decay. Many men watch, feel powerful for a few minutes, and forget. They return to explaining, reacting, begging, becoming subjects again when they could be strategists. You must decide whether that will be your story, or whether today marks the break from the weaker version of yourself. Because you are not here merely to attract women. You are here to become a man whose presence alone changes the temperature of the room. Machiavelli wrote, "He who masters his passions dominates others without lifting a finger." Real power is not shouted. It is not shown off. It is not begged for. Real power is breathed, felt, and remembered. Comment which principle hit you hardest. And subscribe, because what's coming goes far beyond dating. It is a reconstruction of the masculine mind from the root.